Greetings and welcome back to room 303, our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turn now to the poem number 317, Just So Jesus Raps. My Emily group loved the idea that Jesus would be rapping according to Emily Dickinson. Of course, by rapping here, we mean knocking, not actually music rapping, right? But it was fun for my Emily group to enjoy this one moment when this word raps gets used like this. We are back to another Sioux poem. Some have seen this as a pretty controversial kind of poem, especially because in this poem, Emily seems to contest Jesus Christ, the Savior, knocking at the door of the heart of maybe Sioux. Certainly, this has been the speculation in regards to this poem. There's also interesting speculation by a number of scholars about maybe an image or a painting that Emily will have seen that will have something to do with the poem that she will be writing here. Now, our assumption is that you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net. Down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily is our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've already worked through our set of introductory comments. I'm hopeful that you've already read the preceding 316 poems. We just finished with 316. The wind didn't come from the orchard today. Now, if you have been doing that, then you know what we mean when we talk about Sioux poems. Poems specifically given or sent to Sioux, as some will call them love poems, some will call them friendship poems. There's a longing here as well in this poem that I think is quite profound. Now, Emily is building off of a very famous passage from the Bible. Her favorite book of the Bible was Revelation. Revelation 3:20, Jesus is speaking and says, behold, quote, behold, the King James Version, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and sup with him and he with me. Obviously, the door here is the door of the heart, right? Okay. Now, the scholar Judith Farr and others have pointed out that there's a famous painting, William Hunt's painting from 1853, The Light of the World. I recommend before you read this poem, go Google that image real quickly and just take a look at it. By the way, notice that Jesus holding a lantern, knocking on a door, and Jesus with red hair, of course, Emily with her red hair. In this poem, Emily, like we've seen a number of other places, identifies with Christ, with Jesus. And of course, the word Jesus will end up in 17 of her poems. We can go back to poem 225, Jesus, Thy Crucifix, as just one example. 207, 225, 248, 303, remembering about shutting the door, selects her own society that shuts the door. So we've got all of these different references happening as we enjoy this poem. Just so, Jesus raps. He doesn't weary. Last at the knocker, and first at the bell, then on divinest tiptoe standing, might he but spy the lady's soul when he retires. Chilled or weary, it will be ample time for me, patient upon the steps. Until then, heart, I am knocking low at thee. Now, there's a certain kind of, some have called it whimsical tone to this poem. But I think there's something very interesting and even profound happening in this poem. As Emily says to Sioux, I will outlast even Christ. Christ is going to get tired of knocking at your heart. I will never get tired. I will wait forever to get the thing that I most desire. The poem begins with this use of the dash. Now, much has been made of the use of Emily's dashes. Here is a classic example, though, of how the dashes actually will capture that knocking sound, right? Notice how, even as I read it, I had to negotiate the use of these dashes. Just so dash, Jesus dash, raps. Again, this use of the word raps happens only one time. Here it is. He doesn't weary, but notice later it will be that he does weary. Last at the knocker, first at the bell, then on divinest tiptoe standing. We've already commented on our use of divine and divinity. Notice this tiptoeing reference is also remarkable. By the way, when we get to poem 690, it's we dine on tiptoe crumbs. It's a brilliant line there. I love this idea that Christ is standing on tiptoes, trying to see in, might he but spy the lady's soul. And again, here it's Sue, most likely, with the lady's soul. When he retires, chilled. In other words, he knocked only for so long. Sue didn't come to the door, and so finally he wearies, again, as opposed to he doesn't weary. It'll be ample time for me. And then all of a sudden the speaker of the poem steps in. Notice what she says about herself. I'm patient upon the steps. Until then, italicized until then. In other words, I am willing to wait. Then notice heart exclamation point, which is significant given notice that there are no other exclamation points, just dashes in the poem. Then I am knocking directly now to Revelation 3:20, low at thee. I'm knocking low at thee. Now, what exactly is going on in this poem? I think at 2a, the argument that Emily's making is that it is hard to wait so long for the acceptance of friendship or love, but she says, I'm not gonna get tired. Like Christ might get tired, Jesus might get tired, but I'm not gonna get tired. At 2b, well, again, the use of the dash here is quite remarkable to almost like suggest this power of the knocking or the rapping that first Jesus and then ultimately she will have. At 3a, well, the referencing already, we've made point of Revelation 3:20, but I think it is this Hunt painting that I very much recommend that you take a look at, The Light of the World, which is an image that many believe Emily probably would have seen and been easily able to somehow, kind of compare herself to the painting. Finally, at 3b, to own a poem like this, what was a time when you persisted in trying to gain a friendship and you wouldn't give up? You're like refused to give up. I hope that you'll enjoy doing the same with your reading of Emily. Thank you.